Hi everyone, welcome back to Daily Recaps. Today, I am going to explain a film called The Brand New Testament. Hope you like it. Enjoy the video and take care. The films start in a new world, where God is a human-like, with feelings, desires, and have emotions. He lives in an apartment Brussels, which he shares with his wife and 10-year-old daughter Naomi. God dislikes talking about his older son JC because he was a rebel who insisted on getting things done his way. This God is not a Messiah or the Savior, as he is typically depicted. He is merely an artist who has grown tired of creating things. Before creating humans, he made cities and towns filled with only animals. But such a world was boring since animals didn't create drama on their own. Hence, God made the first human in his skin named Adam. After traveling the world, he found a woman named Eve and instantly fell in love. Being the first humans was a bit difficult for the couple at first. But after trying a bunch of things in bed, they finally managed to get Eve pregnant. Their children multiplied over the years and eventually, humankind was formed. God observes them as they develop, but eventually, it all becomes monotonous. As time goes on, he develops a sadistic personality and starts to enjoy making other people suffer. He makes ridiculous rules, such as the fact that a slice of bread will always land jam side down and that the line in front of you in the grocery store will always move more quickly. When the little problems get old, he creates bigger ones like terrorism, global warming, poverty, natural calamities, and so on. Even outside of work, God is a terrible creature, always bossing his wife around and treating her like a lesser being. He is emotionally and physically abusive to his daughter as well. She can move things with her mind like her older brother JC, but God doesn't allow her to use her powers, jealous that he doesn't have them. No one is allowed into his office room, where he keeps files and data about humankind. Until one day, he finds the door open and walks inside without her father's knowledge. The computer that God uses to run the entire world is in the center of the room. He learns about all the disasters her father has caused via the computer. She finds it repulsive that he takes pleasure in watching people suffer. So, that evening at dinner, she exposes him as a sadist. Hours are spent being whipped by a furious God with his belt before his rage subsides. By the time the play is over, he is done. She makes the decision to flee her house, but she needs her brother's assistance because there are no windows or doors. When she touches a little statue in her room, it comes to life as JC and explains what she must do next. She should first get herself a bunch of apostles, someone who can be an advocate for her policies and ideas. JC tried 12 and it was too messy, so he asks her to try getting only 6 apostles. To choose the said apostles, she can just randomly pick up 6 human cards from her father's study. Then, JC asks her to write a brand new testament using the apostles and their experiences. That way, he can contribute to the betterment of humanity like JC once did. To get her out of the house, he has hacked the dryer and connected it to the human world. After a long chat, he steals the key to the study room from her father and retrieves 6 human cards randomly. Before she leaves, she breaks into his computer and sends a text message to every person still alive informing them of the precise day they will pass away. The result is chaos in the world of humans. Many people who are living shorter lives quit their jobs and begin doing the things they have always wanted to. While some people simply eat whatever they want, others go one step further and jump off buildings. Many coincidences occur in relation to the texts, leading people to accept their death date after they initially reject the text messages. The scared ones do everything they can to prevent their deaths, but they ultimately find out that it is inevitable, as they can die from simple accidents, like a cupboard falling on them. This also sends people into a moral dilemma, and many soldiers flee the war, wanting to do better with the time they have left. As the chaos continues, he goes into the dryer and crawls along a long path until she finally reaches the human world. She enjoys the rain for some time before eating a burger from the dumpster. A homeless man named Victor assists her when the burger makes her ill. Since she is not good at writing herself, she asks him to assist her in writing the testaments because she senses that he is a good man. Victor initially considers her request to be childish, but after she insists on following him, he decides to assist. God awakens at home and discovers that the world he created is evolving into a better place. Up until now, people were afraid to pursue their passions because of the uncertain future. However, they have their entire lifetime ahead of them and can decide how they want to live. This brings people joy, which is against God's wish of how humans should be. He quickly goes to his computer to change the settings but finds out that it has been hacked. His smell is lingering around the house, and by following it, he finds the pathway located in the dryer. At this moment, he decides to go into the world he created to teach his daughter a lesson. Back on Earth, Victor and Dee go to their first apostle named Doralee. She is a beautiful woman, wanted by many men and envied by every woman she meets. However, she is always sad and frequently blames her life for being unfair. It turns out that when she was a teen, Doralee lost her left arm and has been wearing prosthetics since then. He asks her to talk about her life so they can extract the important parts to write in the New Testament. Victor gets ready with a pen and a piece of paper to note down Doralee's life lessons. She starts by saying that the most crucial moment of her life was not when she lost her arm. It was when she met a homeless man one day. He told her that life is like a skating rink where a lot of people fall. It was a simple sentence that many people would interpret in the ways they like. The sentence, however, gave Doralee a new perspective on life. She has been trying to stand up for a number of years, but she is aware that she has already fallen. He understands her concerns and asks her to wait for a miracle that is about to happen shortly. At night, Doralee dreams of reuniting with her hand. She comes to terms with her disability and finally gets up from the skating rink that the homeless man told her about. He then moves on to the second apostle, Jean, after Doralee. Jean always yearned to travel and loved having adventures as a child. However, when reality set in, he was stuck in a 9-to-5 job and devoted his life to moving up the corporate ladder. He no longer wanted to work after learning that he only had 12 years to live. So, he took a seat on a park bench and hasn't stood up since. He looks around him and feeds birds throughout the day. He locates him on the same park bench and strikes up a conversation there. She can talk to animals and offers to translate Jean's words to a bird. Jean wants to ask the bird why it never flies away from the park when it has wings to travel anywhere in the world. In turn, the bird asks Jean the same question. The question brings clarity to Jean's mind, and he sets off on a journey to find himself. At the same time, God finally reaches the other end of the tunnel and enters the human world. He is instantly troubled by the world he programmed when a lady pepper sprays him for being a creep. As he tries eating a burger from the garbage can, he is attacked by the street gangs. Later, he is taken to the hospital where he gets into a fight with the doctor after insulting him. Still not coming to terms with a human's way of life, he steals a kid's sandwich and is beaten by the mother. Meanwhile, he looks for the third apostle named Mark. He is a sex addict whose only wish in life is to get in bed with as many women as possible. His addiction started when he saw a girl on the beach at the start of his teenage years. He withdrew the entire amount from the bank and has been using it to pay for prostitutes every night since learning that he only has about 80 days left to live. But it hasn't brought him complete happiness, and he still yearns for something more profound. He tells him that he has a beautiful voice and asks him to do something with it. She is sure that the path will lead him to happiness. The next day, Mark gets the job as a voice actor and meets a woman at work. She turns out to be the same girl who he saw at the beach a long time ago. They too instantly feel the chemistry between them and go back to his place. For the first time in Mark's life, he feels a connection deeper than his sexual urges, and they fall asleep holding hands. God's wife is currently taking advantage of her time alone without her husband. She finds 3 more apostles added to the painting of the Last Supper while cleaning the house. God ends up in a church somewhere else, believing that it is the only setting in which he will be revered. But because he cut a line to the food, he is beaten. He receives assistance and food from the pastor, but God returns the favor by mocking the man and his way of life. Even the serene pastor snaps and verbally abuses the man. He and Victor are currently traveling to Francois, the following apostle. For the last week, he has turned into an assassin after finding out that he has 25 years left to live. He thinks that he is not doing anything wrong by killing people since the ones who die at his hands were supposed to die anyway. One day, he is on a mission when he approaches him, asking him to target a specific lady. The lady turns out to be Doralee, hence when the bullet hits her prosthetic arm, Francois thinks it is a miracle that she doesn't die. Intrigued, he follows her for the rest of the day and is smitten by her beauty. He falls in love but keeps on denying it to himself, until one day when he buys Doralee flowers. Gathering much courage, Francois hands them to her, expressing his love. Doralee accepts them but gives him no reply. Then, He visits the fifth apostle Martine. She used to be a hopeless romantic who is now stuck in a loveless marriage. She found out that her husband is going to outlive her for 30 years and has been sulking ever since. She even tries hooking up with random men to get rid of her loneliness, but nothing works. He meets her and senses that she is being called by someone in the circus. Martine takes her word, and the three go to the circus later that day. Martine meets the gorilla there in the eyes and connects with it right away. She purchases the animal from the circus knowing that he represents her only chance at happiness. They get along at night, and Martine ends up kissing him. Aurélie calls Francois from a different location, and they decide to meet. Aurélie shows him her prosthetic arm, and he kisses it, showing that he loves every part of her. They make love, and Francois finally finds happiness outside of killing people. The following morning, God is wandering down a street when he sees Z and Victor. He chases them behind, but they manage to escape by walking on the water. When God tries to do it, he almost drowns and loses the other two. A group of men from the church save him and bring him back to the pastor, but even he doesn't want to take care of the guy. After that, he finds her last apostle, a boy named Willie who is about to die from a terminal illness. His parents agree to his last wish in life, which is to dress like a girl. He befriends him and presents him with a shining fish. Willie wants to release the fish into the sea before he passes away. He sells all of his parents' furniture on Monday so he can go to the beach he's always wanted to see. On Tuesday, Francois confesses his love to Aurélie and his desire to live a lifetime with her. Wednesday is the day when Martine's husband finds her in bed with the gorilla. They kick him out of the house and continue their romantic relationship. Then, Thursday comes and Mark makes love to his girlfriend for the first time. On Friday, Jean follows a flock of birds and reaches a place in the Arctic. There, the birds signal him to the woman who happens to be his soulmate. And, on the last day of the week, God is deported to Uzbekistan with a group of illegal immigrants. At the same time, Willie and the others come to the beach where he sets the fish free. He is only a few minutes away from dying, so the group decides to stay on the beach until his last breath. In the meantime, God's wife enters his office to clean it. She unplugs the computer, which sends the entire world into a frenzy. God's aircraft begins to descend toward the beach and threatens to suffocate everyone. Thank goodness, she quickly plugs the computer back in to prevent the crash. She then proceeds to make personalized changes in the world, giving every human the gift of immortal life. The sky is covered with flowers, and people can walk underwater with their pet fishes. The rules of gravity can be bent, and the world turns into a utopia, where dreams are fulfilled and everything is possible. Victor publishes the New Testament and becomes a well-known author. Martine gives birth to a human child with the gorilla. Francois is pregnant with Aurélie's child. And lastly, and Willie kiss each other. Only character who doesn't have a happy ending is a god, who is still stuck in Uzbekistan without a family. He desperately spent the rest of his days trying to find a way home by looking into every dryer. That's all from the movie. Thanks for watching. If you want more interesting videos like this, then hit like and subscribe to support the daily recaps. See you again. Take care.